God. Welcome to For the Story, the only podcast that is constantly being followed by the paparazzi spicy meatball carbonara.
You scared me there because, like,
carbohydrates.
You always have to think deeply about what your intro is going to be, and you went off just like without a fucking hitch, and you gave me this look like, this might kill us both.
Yes, the jokes. There wasn't even a real joke there. I didn't say a single joke.
No, I'm also pretty sure it was my turn.
It's too late now. Oh, I was there. I just had fire on the tip of my tongue. And by fire, I mean my ADHD is kicked in hard tonight.
Yeah.
And I got like a headache in a specific part of my head. And every time that happens, it's mostly because I'm speaking too much and too loud and making noises that give me a headache.
Are you taking the Limitless drug?
Yes.
Nice.
What? Oh my goodness, bless you.
It would have been really
These
weird.
These mics are so good. Do you see look,
even
that's your sneeze right there. Isn't that crazy?
Fucking great.
Yeah.
I was kind of scared that I wasn't going to have to sneeze if we were just going to have this awkward pause.
Oh, that'd be so much better.
Thanks, man. Avery's always like gaslighting me about my sneezes. He told me,
dude, you sneeze really loud. Like the cat will be like, huh?
Yeah, I have a powerful dad sneeze. Not really much I could do about it.
Something.
I mean, I must have a kid somewhere because that thing came out of nowhere.
Oh my God. We watched nothing of value this week.
We watched Hellfest. We watched Hot Summer Nights. And we watched Josie and the Pussycats, a movie that we've been talking about watching.
We tried to watch it like 6 months ago and we couldn't find it. It was like, I think it was like $7 on Apple Movies or some shit.
Yeah, something
we were
insane. Or like Prime or something. And
apparently I had an outburst about it. I don't remember.
Oh, I remember because it was like at an odd time. It was like 2 a.m. and we were like, we could do one more movie. We were like deep in quarantine. Neither of us had normal sleep schedules.
Josie and the Pussycats?
Yeah.
$7 fucking dollars.
No, because I remember because we were watching Riverdale.
That's right.
And you're
That's why.
And I'm like, yeah, and they made a Josie and the Pussycats movie, and you're like, we have to watch this.
I've seen the movie before, but it's been like a long time. I knew they made it. I just figured it was pretty much on par with what we were watching, especially since we'd been watching so much Riverdale. I thought it was a real movie when I was a kid.
I liked Josie and the Pussycats, but I wouldn't compare it to the quality of Riverdale. I am getting caught up on season 5 though right now because it is airing currently.
Didn't they go into space?
No, they just had a rocket and they didn't launch it.
Oh, that's so disappointing. They don't have the budget for that. Actually, they probably do have the budget for that.
I mean, that shouldn't limit anyone because this week we also did tap into the world of Legends of Tomorrow and watched last episode of season 3 where Bebo fights Malice.
Honestly, it was so ridiculously bad. And like, I think like what it is, they all have like magic pendants and they can summon like the one true power something. I don't know. And they fight a CGI, like a PS2 character demon.
The dragon from the Dungeons and Dragons movie, like that quality, but
it might have been a little bit better than that.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a little bit better.
Avery loved the show.
Easily as good as Steppenwolf from Justice League.
Yeah. Well,
easily as good.
Yeah, but that's like an impossibly low bar.
Yeah. Well, that just goes to show how fucking bad Steppenwolf is in Justice League.
Oh, it's so good.
So,
I love it.
So they summon
Bebo.
A furry blue guy named Bebo, who's like 13 feet tall.
And they fight. It's good.
They fight.
He does the kung fu, like put his arm out and do the
from like the Matrix. Oh God, it's so bad. We were talking like, how did that come to be? And I think like what happened was there was some animator. This is how it is in my head.
Okay.
Who got paid overtime to like make this fight scene and showed it to his boss and was like, well, we could use this because they were coming down. They were on the wire. They had fucking nothing. Mm-hmm. They had like the recorded scenes with all of the characters standing in a line like they always do, reacting to something. And then and they were just like, what the hell are we gonna put here? So somebody whipped something up. He got paid $50 for the hour it took for him to animate that, and then it was all they had, and the boss was just like, fuck it, it'll work, whatever. Our bar is so low, let's just put it in.
Let's get like the part of the cast that we can actually get back, which is none of the main characters, and let's have them stand in a line and go, oh, get him, Bebo. Yeah. Which is literally
because all of the main cast was supposed to be inside Bebo, and then Bebo disappears at the end into a crater, and they're all laying there, but they're not like they should have been like covered in goop and like naked.
Yeah,
like that would have been. They all just had their costumes on, but it's because like nobody wanted to get out of costume because they shot it in 45 minutes.
I truly believe that I am the best connoisseur of bad TV.
I mean, dude, Legends of Tomorrow is so bad.
Yeah,
it's so bad. Like
Perfect.
I think back to like the 90s, right? And like I know I compare shows to Xena a lot, but I feel like that's a gold standard for fantasy television in the 90s. And the thing is that it's not good.
No.
Like the quality isn't good, but nothing on TV was good.
No.
So it actually stood out as being slightly better than all of the other crap that was on TV. And it was always, just like Star Trek, like the story was what came first, or the characters, hopefully. And and so I see Legends of Tomorrow, and I think like, man, this could have hacked it in the 90s.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It would have been kick-ass in the 90s.
Yeah.
Probably like the most highly budgeted show ever in the 90s.
Because they spent like $13 on shows in the 90s. They just were like, Norm, and like, that's not the 90s.
But that's what's so fun about 90s and even going back into the 80s and 70s is like, it was just really cheap. They didn't have any time to redo shit. So all of the performances are okay or good enough for them to move on.
Oh, yeah. Put this. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
And there's something quaint about all of it. Like even like I watch Next Gen all the time, and Next Gen is cheesy as hell. Next Gen was the most high budgeted TV show of all time when it was on the air, or it was like the most currently high budgeted show on the air. And like you look at it now and it's so goofy.
Oh yeah.
It's so goofy. And like most of it, I think probably went into costumes. They didn't really have a ton of sets to make because they made them once.
Yeah.
And then just had to like upkeep them. But like, I don't know. It's cool. It's cool to see Legends of Tomorrow bring that quaintness back. They get a big, dumb, goofy, dumbass, stupid fucking spaceship set.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's so dumb.
you at one point you said, why is this like Star Trek but not as good?
That's what it's kind of, yeah. It's like they have one like spaceship set and it's just like clearly a sound stage.
Oh yeah.
There's like a concrete floor. It's so stupid.
It's like a warehouse that it's fucking terrible.
Yeah. So that I do like that. That is something that the CW has been dishing out. They're like the only channel that still produces these terribly budgeted.
But it's just like, it's crazy.
Shows.
Like put it next to the cinematography of Riverdale.
It's
well produced.
It's interesting because Riverdale has the exact opposite problem that Legends of Tomorrow has. Although honestly, I would say the character writing is probably better on Riverdale too.
Oh yeah.
But I would say it's the exact opposite problem. There's no content.
No.
Nothing at all. Nothing that even touches the level of the Bebo fight.
Oh no.
In Riverdale.
We're like,
I'd
like to see a crossover, a Bebo Riverdale crossover.
So
they build a rocket ship and go straight to planet
God,
Bebo.
I wish. Nothing that even touches that, but like the cinematography is awesome in Riverdale.
That show looks so good. It's so weird.
It's like the cinematography. It's the color grading. It's like the way they dress the characters in colorful clothing typically. So it just pops. It's the lighting. Like they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
With that shit. So
CW is an interesting entity, but
it's really weird to see where they put their money.
Yeah.
Because it's all over the place.
Oh yeah, it's so bizarre.
But they must be making money on it.
Yeah, I can't think of any like on TV networks that are making content that is as popular, really. Like there isn't like an exclusive channel like HBO or Showtime.
Like everything went to streaming services once Netflix started picking up. And
so yeah, after the migration of all the shows onto Netflix, CW still is somehow putting out content that people are watching and like obsessed with because it's
serialized.
It's so trash in a way that I think it has to do with nostalgia a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, I've seen Teenage Bounty Hunters. There is trash on Netflix, but
it's all about the hook with like syndicated, or I guess syndicated shows isn't really even a thing anymore, but like, or at least not to that extent, but it's like all about the hook when it comes to those shows that are on the CW, right? It's all about like baiting you past, like giving you a hook that gets you through the commercial break so the CW makes its money and then brings you back, satisfies the hook to some degree, and then leaves you on a cliffhanger so you come in the next week for the episode.
And it's even more psychotic with that when you watch it on Netflix and there's no ads. It's just like it's just absolute. Like
the Netflix model is totally different. It's resulted in completely, totally different style of television.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. And like, we could do a whole podcast on this. Yeah. We could. Well, we won't go for too much longer here, but like the whole thing with Netflix now is now they have the ability to make what is effectively a 10-hour movie. Mm-hmm. And that's what like is the future of television, really. Like channels like the CW, you know, there might be some holdouts, but like that's not the model. Like even like Riverdale, like we don't watch it on the CW.
No, we watch it on Netflix.
Exactly.
And I rip the episodes off of the internet illegally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You totally steal episodes of Riverdale.
Yeah. And then I hand them out on bootleg DVDs at the local market.
Oh, dude, it's grosser than that. He puts them on VHS tapes.
Tell people this is porn and
dips them in Vaseline.
Say, hey, this will be a good spank for your bank.
Yeah. You carry them around in a jacket that's impossibly long with just pockets filled with VHS tapes of Riverdale. Yeah. But yet like the episodes are too long, so you have to put them on like 3 different tapes for an episode.
It's like the Titanic VHS. I don't know if you ever watched Titanic on VHS, but it was 2 VHSs.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, it's just, like, you know what they say about Riverdale? It's the Titanic of TV shows.
Because it hit an iceberg very early in the
and sank, and everyone died. Except for us. We got to the lifeboats, apparently.
Yeah. The true lifeboat, which is just injecting Riverdale directly into the part of your brain that expresses displeasure.
Yeah, it's like when everything else falls apart in your life, like it did for ours on quarantine. And at least you have a Riverdale. At least you have
I kind of resent that because I got into Riverdale far before quarantine.
And look, you turned out fine.
Totally okay. I'm okay. I'm doing great.
So that's enough of that.
Before we get into movies, I want to mention I was on Grim Yells at a Cloud. I cyber bullied hedge fund managers. You should listen to his show.
That's so cool, dude. Oh, also on that note, because you brought up hedge fund managers, which reminded me of the stock market, which reminded me of the fact that I made $50 on Doge. Boom. All right. Look, I'm a finance bro now. Okay, guys.
Oh my God. This is now a pink polo now.
This is now a finance bro podcast.
It's part of your skin.
I can't take it off, man. No, I had $40 in my Robinhood account that I deposited in there last summer because I thought I was going to get into stocks. And then didn't and forgot about it and then logged into it because I wanted to check on Doge. And it was at like 5 cents, maybe a little bit less than that. I think it was like 4.9 or 4.9 cents. I was just like, well, I got $40. That's like what, 700 Doge. So I bought a whole bunch of it. And then I put another $15 in there and bought some more and then sold it when I got up to 8 cents and made like $50.
We did it, guys.
I did it. I bought it as a joke. I just thought it would be funny to annoy you guys. Everyone I know talking about Doge.
Yeah,
What a wild ride.
I was really happy when you sold it and stopped saying the word Doge, but apparently that's not over.
It's not over. I've been watching it. It's just been going down too. So I sold at the right time.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get into our movies. Which one do you want to do first, Avery?
I don't even know what we watched.
I think you're a genius, by the way. I think we should once a month just have like a general movie TV discussion episode. That's sick.
Yeah, why not?
You're a genius.
Okay.
All right. You want to start with Hellfest?
Yeah, let's start with Hellfest. Hellfest is a movie.
From 2018.
And that's it. All right. You want to talk about Hot Summer Nights?
The reason why I asked Avery to watch Hellfest with me was because like years ago when we just only talked on Discord, I wasn't down here yet. I think it was like when we started the podcast, we talked about the idea of a horror film that's set in one of those like haunted house places where you sign a waiver and they can legally touch you. And how, like, if someone snuck in and actually had malicious intent, that'd be like a really great slasher premise.
Yeah. And they turned it into a mediocre movie.
Oh yeah.
But actually, I don't even know if we could call Hellfest mediocre. It was like
kind of boring.
It was kind of boring. It started out with, oh my God, that's right. This is the one with the really annoying characters.
Yeah. The off-brand Negasonic.
Yeah. The girl who like was very clearly in theater growing up, and she played Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream.
Damn, she did play Puck though.
Right?
Oh God, right? She played Puck.
Yeah, like 100%. That was her. Yeah, dude, we could probably look up her IMDb. She probably like actually did.
Puck,
That's like perfect casting right there.
I've seen her in other stuff. I saw her in that one movie where the guy takes ayahuasca to see his dead daughter, and she was also in the Scream television show produced by MTV.
Did she play the same character?
Of course.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling.
Yeah, she's girl who would be a character you know before, but this time she has a short haircut. So she's a little different.
Yeah, a little different than the other girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was an annoying, insufferable character. Like,
it took her so long to die.
Yeah, because like you think she's dead, and we're like, oh, finally, and then like there's a whole second like death scene for her that doesn't pay off how you want it to pay off because like. Yeah. All right. So here's a bit the story. They go to a haunted house place, and there's a guy following them around, gonna kill him. There's kids. I don't remember any of their names. There's the main girl who's tall, and then her friend who is.
Oh, actually, I remember one character's name because his name was my name.
Oh yeah, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, there was like a Filipino kid named Asher, and I'm like, cool.
Oh yeah, he was like the first one to die though.
No, I think Gavin or
the nerdy boyfriend.
No, he, like that was it. Was the other guy that was a different. The lead girl's boyfriend was the first to die. When he went back to,
that's who I was thinking. Then. And then Asher was the guy who died.
He was the one who made out. I can't even
describe their deaths. They were all so boring.
Stabbed.
They all got stabbed.
Yeah, like oh my God, and this slasher was such shit. He was just like hanging out and like 4-year-old girls were walking by him and like accidentally bumping him and knocking him over. It was just like he was so not menacing. Like they were missing that Vince Vaughn element. There wasn't scary.
There wasn't anything interesting about him. Was the problem? Like this is a good movie to compare with what was the one with Vince Vaughn? Yeah. This is a good one to compare with that because that movie like broke convention. Hellfest just stuck to the most boring aspects of a slasher movie while having a good setting.
It's such a good setting because like they get to this one part where they're in like the Deadlands, which is the part of the park where they can touch you, and like you find out that everyone in the Deadlands wears the exact same mask and costume as your killer, which is so frightening. And then they just throw that away immediately, and you see people in other costumes. It's like, cool, very nice. I love it. So fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was like the setting itself was kind of good. You could kind of tell that there was like a haunted house thing in town that they like shot at
Six Flags in Atlanta.
Oh, so literally there was a haunted house thing in town and they just shot at a haunted house thing that was in town. Yeah. Okay, great. Cool. I mean, like, that's fine. Whatever.
I would say big positive. They did make the park feel very expansive. Like it felt like it was like so huge.
Yeah, it did feel really big. And they didn't repeat any locations.
Yeah.
Which I think was also probably really good. And like, I don't know, there is something like I don't know, maybe it's just nostalgia, but like the idea of going to like a haunted house thing with like a group of your friends that are around your age.
Yeah.
And like, there's like young love and intrigue and group dynamics, and some people are friends, some people are just meeting, and that kind of stuff is good.
Yeah. You expressed during the movie, like, man, I'd love to go to something like this.
It really made me want to go to something like that.
That's awesome. Like it achieved that element of it. Like it's a place that you want to go, but then it didn't scare you into thinking like, oh, what would happen if
it just made me want to go to one of those.
Yeah. Which is kind of
really more than anything. It just made me want to have friends. I think that's the only thing.
Someday, buddy.
Yeah, I just want to have like people to go to things like that with.
Yeah, for friends whose moms aren't, or who your mom aren't, who your mom isn't paying.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's what it is.
It's so hard for me to get that sentence out. It's such a bummer.
No, I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, it's how your mother pays me to be your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's what it is. she pays the cat to be my friend too.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's being a nightmare.
Yeah. Nightmare.
He's like, let me go.
Hey, how about I destroy something? That seems like it'd be a good part of the
give
show.
Me attention.
He's like, he's trying to do segments. He's like, okay, now here's the part where I destroy the sound interface. Everyone loves this part of the show.
It just turns it off. I ever tell you about how he learned how to turn off the PS4? And Kelly and I would play games and he learned how to turn it off. He would eject the disc because it had little capacitive buttons on it that his little kitty paws could press. He would turn it off. You're a nightmare. He's like, no,
let me out.
No, let me go.
Have you considered letting me go? Yeah. So this movie was a whole bunch of blah. It's disappointing for the premise because when I read the premise, I'm like, cool, this sounds tight. It was long too, or felt long.
It was only 90 minutes. It was only 90 minutes and it did feel long.
Yeah.
We picked it because it was just a 90-minute grand slam. We were like, damn, easy.
Yeah, this will get us into the flow of the week of movies, you know? Like that was the anticipation that we had. And for me, it was, I was like, man, I guess I hate movies now.
Yeah, it was like one of those ones where it's just like, yeah, that's it. That's it for tonight.
Yeah. We were like, we need to be alone now.
So there was one scene where the killer... So I guess the killer kills her boyfriend and takes her boyfriend's phone and is like texting her all night, her being our like main girl. And there's one part where she's like in the bathroom and getting texts from the boyfriend. And then she like texts back and hears his phone ring while she's in the bathroom. It's a little bit of tension.
But also like not a normal reaction on her part.
Yeah, she like looks, she's like, what the fuck? And then it happens again and she's like, what the fuck?
Is something maybe going on?
Yeah, it just took her forever. And then she like crawls through the stall
and like then gets away.
And then tells us a useless security guard who's just like, yeah, I don't know. You're probably imagining things.
Yeah. They're not allowed to touch you in the bathrooms, but he was just probably having a good time.
Probably just messing with you. I think your friends are just messing with you.
Yeah, oh my God. And the kills were so unmemorable. Like they have the first guy whose head was smashed by a giant hammer on the dinghy thing. And you like see the lump of Play-Doh they use for the prop before they cut to black.
And then I don't remember how the second guy got killed.
He got just like stabbed in a room.
He was just stabbed in a room. That's all that happened.
A really good like haunted house portion where there's like you have to find like a key inside of it and like
I think that shit is cool as hell.
Yeah, the lady in the ground with like the heroin needle in her arm and she like gets up and tries to kill him.
Yeah, and then he just gets stabbed.
Yeah,
there's nothing interesting beyond that.
Yeah, and then the girl gets guillotined.
Yeah,
twice.
Well, not really though. She doesn't get guillotined the second time. She gets guillotined once, and she's just like, "Look at me, I'm a funky spunk master," or whatever she says. She's so annoying.
She's like, "Heidi ho, Captain."
Yeah, it's like literally something like that. And as she gets guillotined once, and a fake head rolls onto the ground, and we like called it. We were like, "Okay, it's gonna be a fake out." And then like the whole staff leaves and leaves her like tied into the guillotine thing.
Yeah, and the killer
because she's annoying, and they're just like, "We gotta get out of here." And then the killer, she like gets out of it, and then she runs into the park, and she just gets stabbed.
Yeah,
that's it.
And then they go into the scariest maze in Hellfest called Hell. Real creative guys, and it sucks.
Yeah, it was like the most boring one.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you walk into this room and there are a bunch of dog statues and there are barking noises. Bark, bark, bark. It's like
there actually was the cool room where it was like all of those like mannequins that were facing towards the center of the room, and you had to walk through to get to the other side and find a secret door.
Yeah,
that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, especially because they were all in black cloaks. Everything was black, so it kind of looked like you were walking into nothingness.
Yeah,
and the way that they shot it looked really good, but a lot of the color wasn't great in this. Like they had one scene that was just yellow.
Yeah, it was a lot of like you could tell they had like colorful lights and like, which did kind of work for the setting. Cause if you think about it, a lot of those horror places just use like spotlights with colorful lenses in front of them to like, add ambiance.
But why was it in the bathroom?
Yeah, that's true. The whole bathroom was just totally yellow.
Yeah.
I guess they were probably going for like an incandescent bulb look, but all they had were those colorful spotlights. So
really
they're like, this will work.
There are no fluorescent lights on in part of the scene, and it's just like a spotlight. And it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah. And how does it end? It ends...
Oh yeah,
they hide in that room with all the mannequins, and then it was edited so poorly.
Yeah, he like walks out, and then like there's a divergent path, and then you think that they're on different paths, but then she like stabs him.
Yeah,
with his own knife.
He like stabs one of the two girls that make it, the girl and her best friend.
Yeah,
but you can't really see what happens because the editing was not awesome. There was like multiple times that something happened and like somebody said like a weird line that didn't line up or make any sense with what just happened.
Yeah.
Like there was one time like a kid ran by and like knocked into someone and someone was just like, dude, he pissed on you or something like stupid like that. Do you remember that? And we were like, what the fuck just happened? We're like, what? It wasn't specifically duty pissed on you, but it was like something that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And we were like, what the hell just happened? And that was kind of what happened when they were in that mannequin room. Like the killer like stabs one of the girls and then like they run away. Like somehow they get away, even though it looked like one of them was murdered.
Yeah.
And then they stab him and he gets up like
later,
sequel bait.
Yeah.
And then as if anyone would want to see this killer again.
Oh my god. And the way that they outro it, he like goes into his house and he puts the mask in the thing and he walks in and there's like a little girl, and for not a single second, despite the music bill, do you believe that he's gonna kill this little girl?
Yeah.
But then she gets up and says, Daddy. And he's like, did you bring me anything? And he's like, yeah. And then it cuts to credits.
And that's it.
Terrible movie.
So I guess he has a wife and kid.
The true Hellfest is that film.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's move the fuck on.
Yeah. What we watch? We watch Hot Summer Nights after that.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have the most to say about this movie probably.
Then do you want to talk about Josie and the Pussycats first?
No.
Okay. Hot Summer Nights, starring Timothy Chalamet, an A24 film.
And Hunter Strawberry.
Damn, Hunter fucking Strawberry, dude.
Best character name. We made so many jokes.
It was like
we had some good bits about Hunter Strawberry.
We didn't even remember the main character's name. We just called him Timothy Chalamet.
And Hunter Strawberry.
We fucking remembered Hunter Strawberry.
There's no forgetting that name.
Oh my
That is a great...
God.
Unforgettable name. Like the fact that I remembered it days later.
Yeah, I have almost forgotten it until you said it.
Yeah, Hunter freaking Strawberry. Hot Summer Nights is a movie that takes place in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. There's not really a ton of stuff that would establish it as Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Maybe if you've been to specifically Cape Cod, Massachusetts yourself, you would know. That's
even where it was fucking. I think it was filmed in Atlanta.
It probably was filmed in Atlanta. Like it probably was.
Yeah.
It seems like the writer-director for this saw Drive and wanted to be Martin Scorsese, so they just rammed those two ideas together.
And he got the music supervisor from fucking Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Like the first act of the movie has a lot of these like great little tableaus. You have a narrator character who's explaining the things that are going on. Turns out the narrator character completely unrelated to the events of the movie entirely.
Yeah, entirely.
Which is great and something Martin Scorsese never does.
Yeah.
Just a seemingly juvenile directorial or maybe writing decision. Regardless, it doesn't matter. I'm not a movie maker either. I probably couldn't have done better. But like like be real. So what happens after that?
So he goes to Cape Cod for the summer to stay with his Nana, a character who is established.
Yeah, because he gets in trouble doing something that we missed. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, it was like he was. Oh no, he committed arson because his dad died, and he burnt like a bunch of records that his dad left.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
So he goes to stay with his Nana, and he's kind of like an in-between because most of the population of the town is like tourists, like really wealthy, like white people.
Or
townies who are, and like they don't mingle, like they don't hang out, like the townies don't mix with the Hunter Strawberry is one of the townies. So we jump forward just out of nowhere. Our main character, Timothy Chalamet, is already at a party.
Yeah.
They do like with a first of at least 4 maybe 5 tracking shots where they like follow a character like through a party and you see all of the people.
Yeah.
It's in like every Scorsese film. And you see all the people, they're like drinking beers and laughing, and then the narrator's like, and there he is, Johnny Mnemonic doing his thing, and then like he like snorts a line of cocaine. He's like, that's the shit, and then the camera pans past it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's in like all of those like period piece attempt movies.
Yeah.
But like American Hustle is another one that's kind of like
they
that.
do a lot of tracking shots.
Yeah,
in
it's
American Hustle.
that like that long take shot where they're really trying to display to you the period. You know, they're trying to show you like, this is it. This is what the 70s was like.
Yeah.
And normally Scorsese does it a lot specifically, but in this movie they try.
It's confusing though, because like, who is the audience they're looking for that like doesn't know about the 90s? You know, that's the confusing part to me. I mean,
That's
like,
another part.
Z's?
Yeah, that's like another part of what makes this movie's decade, specifically the setting, not really make any sense, because this movie is supposed to take place in 1991. However, the soundtrack that they use is entirely from the 50s and 60s,
Right.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah.
And we theorized back when we thought the movie had a more cohesive vision.
Yeah.
That they were trying to display that like early 1991 or summer 1991, small town 50s America still lived on in Cape Cod.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you have that bucolic nature. Of
Bucolic was the word we used
yeah.
several times.
It's like that Reaganite notion of the suburbs. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's
Everything's perfect and beautiful.
yeah. While you have this kid like
Post-war America.
yeah,
And so they did a whole bunch of that.
It doesn't like fuck.
It doesn't pay off.
Doesn't pay off. Like literally, the time period doesn't matter.
Yeah, it becomes irrelevant. It truly becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, and like even like the costuming wasn't particularly 90s.
Like it was like there enough, but it was almost more like it was the 50s.
It could have been any year. You could have told me that movie took place in any year.
Yeah, like they
Like,
display
until like 2000.
they
Like
display Hunter Strawberry driving up to like a 60s song, driving a 60s car, wearing like 50s greaser attire, and then just minutes after they just explained that it was 1991.
Yeah.
And so you have this like totally incongruent setting that I think detracts from it. It was more confusing than anything.
maybe it's because they were trying to sell the idea that this kid was being hard as hell by selling pot.
I guess. But the thing is the biggest problem that the movie suffers from is that Timothée Chalamet's character has no character development.
Yeah.
Almost none.
And to kind of pile on to that, they give Hunter Strawberry a lot of it, but then give up on it in the third act because they someone realized like, oh, our main character is having zero arc.
Yeah. And so they have to like rush in a whole bunch of drug dealing stuff at the very end.
Which is not characterization, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah. And so like I think that's like probably the biggest failing. And we discussed like how they rushed this explanation of why this character, and you know what? It's fine that they rushed him getting to Cape Cod because that's where the story takes place.
Yeah.
But there needed to be a first act of him trying to fit in with the townies or with the tourists and being like riding that line.
Yeah.
And they just jump to him immediately at a gigantic house party. Is
Yeah.
like seriously,
He
like
needs
the
a
first scene he's in.
Couple loose interactions like he had at the party with Hunter Strawberry. They need to brush by one another.
Their friendship didn't feel real because it felt like it just fucking happened.
Yeah, he like
And it
covered
didn't
for
make
him
sense.
in front of a cop by putting pot in the register.
And then they're on the beach smoking weed together,
Yeah.
like immediately,
They're
like the next
best friends,
scene.
yeah.
And that was like the most unbelievable part about it because Hunter Strawberry was like a hardened badass type guy, like literal murderer type guy.
Yeah.
And Timothée Chalamet's character initially seemed that he was like kind of meek, but he also kind of had an edgy side. But they
He's like a
display
little disturbed, but they did such a poor job of telling you that through
Yeah.
storytelling without the narrator.
Yeah.
Like if the narrator hadn't been like he tried to do an arson,
you just wouldn't have known.
yeah, he would have just been like the meek guy who immediately jumps into fucking pot.
Yeah. And like the thing is like they would have his character do like uncharacteristic badass things, like standing up to the big drug dealer guy, and stuff like that, and not being afraid of the big drug dealer guy and taking a chance on the really big drug deal, and like things that like just seemed completely incongruent with the way they had displayed his character up until that point. And that's the biggest problem, is that our main character was, I think, simultaneously supposed to be a lens for the audience, just like a POV, like just get you in the world. But then the world's incongruent.
Yeah.
So there was no real redeeming angle to it at all.
You didn't even need him to have that strong of a character. You just needed him to have an arc. When it was going well with him with selling pot, it didn't really feel like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't improving.
And it was
his
also
life.
cartoon pot dealing.
Yeah, it was cartoon.
They were just like, how many thousands did we make? 200? 300? You kidding me, Chalamet? It was like literally a scene that was like,
yeah. They're like, we sold like 25 pounds of pot.
Yeah.
It's like, and like they have one sub drug dealer. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And they had like, they did the Scorsese thing where they have the crazy period accurate character.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was supposed to be their drug runner guy. Mm-hmm. And then that, it's just like, none of it really lined up. They wanted it to kind of be Drive and Baby Driver at the same time too.
But with less cars.
Yeah. Like, well, they did the scene because he got the Corvette after they started making a ton of money.
Yeah.
And so they did the driving things, and
yeah,
I don't know. It's just like,
yeah,
it was very much a watershed of that like attempt at period accuracy, and like, and movies like, honestly, like Drive is like one of the ones that comes to mind most immediately.
And they have a whole subplot of a couple of romances that comes across, and
oh yeah,
like the girl from It Follows is in it, and
she's the love interest character. Her performance was the best in the whole movie.
Yeah, some of the things they said were like, I think you brought up a good point, because they talked about her and how like she's like perfect, and like a guy saw her boob once and it was sick, and like
or something like,
and like her prom date died, and like everyone who's ever dated her has died.
I don't think it was quite like that, but it was something like that.
They literally talked about how her prom date died.
Oh, that's right.
And like there's other guys she's dated.
There was a guy
died
who like, one of her ex-boyfriends was a football player at some university,
and he killed himself
after she dumped him.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's right.
Then the bubblegum guy, they also talked about how he died in like a car crash.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like one of the things they pointed to, which they like didn't really follow up on, is that he like her boyfriends kept dying, which I thought they were inferring that like Hunter Strawberry was killing him, because it was Hunter Strawberry's sister.
Well, they start the movie with introducing Hunter Strawberry, and like the rumor was they did the thing where they would cut to all of like the locals, and they'd all be like, I heard he killed a man. I heard he killed a man too. I heard he killed a man. And, you know, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
they had the like framed shot of what were supposed to be townies.
Yeah, it was like weird how they inserted that random documentarian style thing with like a Goonies kind of vibe.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. And so I don't know. It's like, she was the best part of the movie, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. Hunter Strawberry had his moments. They just kind of fucked him at the end.
Yeah. That actor like was so like obnoxiously like goofily handsome. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he looked out of place for being like a hardened kind of criminal type dude.
It's crazy that Timothy Chalamet is the one who, I guess he was already kind of doing stuff at that point, but like the notion that none of these other actors have done much since then is kind of crazy to me. I mean, like It Follows girl. No,
I don't even know what she's. When did Hot Summer Nights come out?
After It Follows. I
figured probably like 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
Okay. So I don't know. It ends with Timothy Chalamet's character. What does he do? He tries to do a coke deal, and like the coke dealer is just like, do a bump, and he does it, and then the coke dealer's just like, yeah, it's baby formula. I'm gonna take all your money. And then like
and then he like gets in the car and crashes,
which
they show you at the beginning of the
and he tells the like big drug dealer who's been selling him all the pot, when for some reason the big drug dealer, who by the way, worst actor in the movie, oh my god,
it was like,
he was so bad.
Who was the actor I was comparing him to?
Oh my god, I don't
the guy from
know,
30 Minutes or Less.
Oh, Danny McBride.
Yeah, Danny McBride.
Danny McBride's better than that guy was.
Oh yeah, but I think his aesthetic reminded me of a clean cut Danny McBride.
What was the one? It was like a 30-minute movie where the guy gets hacked back in time and he fights dinosaurs. And there's Barbariana. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
Kung Fury.
Oh, Kung Fury. Okay.
Yeah. So that actor who played the big bad guy, I think his name was supposed to be Dex. he reminded me of an actor that would be in like that movie where it was like a spoof and he was playing like a spoof of a villain.
Yeah.
But like he wasn't a villain. He was a comedy actor. Like you could kind of tell it was not a great casting choice. No. They should have had like, I don't know. They tried to like play up the tension between Timothy Chalamet and Hunter Strawberry as like Timothy Chalamet's dating Hunter Strawberry's daughter, or not daughter, sister. And, but they don't like, it doesn't really make any sense why Hunter Strawberry would be that mad about it.
Yeah.
And like,
because he knows the guy.
Yeah. It's like, you think that he'd prefer that someone that he trusts, like Timothy Chalamet, be dating his sister instead of anyone else.
Yeah.
And like, that's how I saw it, but they needed a reason for them to fight. So there could be a discourse.
Didn't really fight. Like it was just all very under-delivered upon.
Yeah, it really was. It was just underwritten. This movie definitely wanted to hit you with the sweeping emotional moments. And everything else kind of fell to the wayside. They wanted to display to you the story of Timothy Chalamet's character who has a secret that's, making him really happy and really successful, but he falls in love with a local town girl who doesn't know about any of it.
Yeah.
And that's really what they wanted. And he has a best friend who's like super cool. And, like
he's like the coolest guy.
Yeah, that's like what they wanted. They wanted you to insert yourself into the movie. It was just like that.
It's bizarrely both very boomer and then also like it was written by a 13-year-old. It's weird.
It's super like, it's very Gen X. In that it's like that's I guess what some people think that drug dealing is like.
Yeah.
Where it's just you just got to be smart. If you sell to more people, you make more money.
Yes.
Drug dealing is just like capitalism.
It's like,
I mean, it is.
Yeah. Well, it's just like also the inference that Hunter Strawberry didn't realize that selling more meant that he made more money. It's just like, and also they treat it like he's dealing coke the whole time.
Yeah. And
like they should have had him dealing coke. He was dealing with rich people in Cape Cod in the 90s. Like, why wouldn't they be doing coke?
Yeah. Yeah. And like Timothy Chalamet is just apparently a drug dealing genius for no reason.
None.
And like there was nothing to establish him as like being like a character that would become a drug lord.
Yeah.
At all.
They just needed to make it coke. If it was coke, it would have like the stakes would have felt more there, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're dealing with seedier people. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. But the fact that it was just pot, it's like whatever.
Yeah. And making 200K is a lot more believable. 250K is
with
a lot
cocaine.
More,
but if you're selling weed, like
that's an insane amount of weed to sell.
Like over a summer going from selling
like dime bags
to selling hundreds of thousands of dollars of marijuana is insane and not possible.
Yeah, especially in a town that's like not that big, like Cape Cod.
Yeah, exactly. Like there is a point when they go to Boston.
Yeah.
But even then, like they would have to, like he would have to be moving product to dealers that are selling on the streets.
Yeah.
That's how he would have made that money.
Yeah.
But they never do that.
They put up like a bunch of names of cities and dates and then like to infer the amount of poundage that he was selling.
Oh, that's right.
But then he's still wearing like his shitty polos and the only purchase he fucking made is like a car. Like he would have bought other stuff.
Yeah. So I mean like, man, I don't know. I think like the worst thing that the movie did was introduce the movie with a narrator character who you think is either going to be Timothy Chalamet himself being like, and that was the best summer I ever had or something like that. Or it's going to be a character that matters in the story. And it's neither of those. It is just a side character.
It's just fucking baffling. It's not even a side character. It's a character they show in one shot and be like, that's me. The guy who's been talking the whole time.
Yeah. At least they didn't do you're probably wondering how I got here after you like got hit by the car.
Yeah.
Because that's what that would have been.
Yeah. There's just a lot of movie making faux pas in this movie.
It's weird because like on the surface, it seems like a fine movie, but you just dig just a little deeper and you notice that there's not a lot there.
There's not a lot. There were portions that were boring.
Yeah. And they're just like not great choices. Like some of the better stuff was the love interactions between Timothy Chalamet and
It Follows
Girl. Yeah. And like that was some of like the fun stuff that I cared about. And like that script writing was good. Like, but you could tell that they had like their dialogue down, but they didn't have their character development down or their setting down. Or they had their setting down, but whoever was picking the music totally fucked that shit up.
Yeah.
Like they picked
just like
so many bad, like not even bad songs, just out of place songs.
yeah, it's like the music person had dementia and like kept forgetting that they had just started a song 17 seconds earlier, and they're like, I remember this song from my old days. Like,
Yeah.
it was insane.
It's like when is something that you're doing a callback just a ripoff, right?
Yeah.
Because everything that seemed like they were just doing a callback to Scorsese movies or a callback to movies like American Hustle, which isn't really that old, but that is a style of movie, that period accuracy movie type deal. Which like a movie like, you remember what is it? Not The Other Guys.
Pain and Gain.
No, it's not The Other Guys. It's called like The Bad Guys or something like that.
Okay.
It was a Shane Black movie.
Okay.
Ryan Gosling was in it.
Okay. I know, the cover of the film that you're speaking
it's
of.
like orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck? The Good Guys? Maybe that's what it is. That's
Maybe.
a movie that does period accuracy, but it becomes a farce of itself in a little bit. It like makes fun of that a little bit. This movie was just like kind of ripping off that style. And
man, levity would have been a good move. Like if after a certain point, once they're like, yeah, we sold $250,000 of pot, and then it just went off the fucking rails because that's a ridiculous premise for the second half of the movie.
I mean, I like when shit goes off the rails regardless.
Yeah.
Like I just like when things like go in a direction that is so amplified beyond anything you would have expected going into a movie. I like that a lot. But like, I don't know, man. This was it wasn't like a tasteless movie. It seemed like they had an idea. They just tried to get too artsy with it and did like that brown color grading that looks like trash.
It did look terrible too.
Yeah, it's like they had like good ideas behind the camera, but it's like they just barfed all of them onto the screen, and it just like was all these places were just slightly not dialed in, and it ended up being complete disarray because of it.
It just felt like the 30-second elevator pitch of the movie was just stretched out to the length of the movie. Like, it was just like literally what it felt like.
Like they were like, picture this warm summer day, Cape Cod, but you're a townie. You know, like there's a good idea there that just was misexecuted every step along the way until you ended up kind of with a jumbled mess.
There were like a lot of interesting subplots. You know, you have Timothée Chalamet's dealing with like the loss of his dad. Never really fucking deal with that.
Never deal with that
it's
at all.
It's the dichotomy between townies and these rich people who are moving in. Never fucking deal with that. Like there are interesting ideas that they present to you, and they pay off none of them. I didn't really like this movie that much. I don't know if you can tell.
I didn't really like it either. I liked moments of it. I like the idea of this movie, and just like, but I can see that it was misexecuted.
Yeah.
We were like really hoping that the cop character, who never gets resolved either, was going to kill Hunter Strawberry.
Yeah.
Because that would have been intense.
Yeah.
And we were hoping that was going to somehow wrap around into It Follows Girl, and Timothée Chalamet was going to have Hunter Strawberry's blood on his hands.
Yeah.
You know, which he kind of did, sort of.
Yeah. Like,
but he never really faced the consequences of that.
He got like hit by a car and he took the easy way out. Like, what the fuck?
Like he did.
Yeah.
He fucking did.
Yeah.
It's just very,
that
very
character
weak.
having to deal with the like consequences of his actions was exactly what he needed for like his development from that character who like did
whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
He was just like, I could just deal drugs and this is the life. And then he just got hit by a car, and you're right, took the easy way out.
Yeah.
So it's like our main character becomes deplorable, which can work.
Yeah.
If they have good development.
Yeah. And like they have an arc, and you know, everything's going great for them. Something goes wrong, and then how they deal with that
and bounce back subsequently.
Yeah. It's this is like 101 shit though. Like it's just kind of baffling to me that this made it through rewrites.
Yeah.
You know, the script is kind of
did we look up the budget?
$344,000.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
For the budget that they had, it was a pretty impressive movie then, I will say.
Yeah.
They did try some period accuracy stuff. They licensed some big songs. I don't know why they picked the ones they did, but they did it.
They did like Bowie and the Beatles. And it's like, you have such a small budget. Please spend it on like maybe, I don't know, a second Dolly perhaps.
Yeah. Or like, but I think probably most of the budget went to those tracking shots, or the ones where they followed the character through the party.
Yeah. It's and like maybe getting Timothée Chalamet, because he's the only name on this that anyone like.
It Follows Girl too.
I mean,
but we don't even know her name.
We don't even know her name, and she 100% isn't doing that much. Like, even though she is good, she's just like Timothy
I'd like to
Chalamet's
see her in more stuff. That's
Oh.
my takeaway from
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Because
she was great.
she has more range than I expected. She played the polar opposite to her character, and it follows.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
just completely different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which was
great.
really cool because she was very meek and very like timid and learning about how she was becoming an adult and learning about her own sexuality. And that was the point of It Follows. But in this, she's just very confident and like emotionally mature, just like complete opposite side of the coin.
Yeah.
So
She was great. Yeah.
so I'd like to see her again in a role that isn't just she's love interest girl, but I think she went beyond that a little bit in this movie
Yeah,
too.
I think she kind of stole the show a lot of the times. I do. Another thing
think so,
I want Timothy Chalamet to get on gear. I'm going to be talking about this through Dune.
Yeah, we have started compiling a list of dream actors on gear.
Yeah, we just like who-
Danny DeVito, Timothy Chalamet, Steve Carell was one that you brought up.
Steve Carell on gear, just fucking yoked.
Dude, I mean, like Kumail Nanjiani got on gear.
Yeah.
That's opened the door, dude. I mean, like we don't know definitively that he's been on steroids, but
Yeah, and then
it looks like it.
we're pretty sure it might be SARS. Anyway, let's get into the piece de résistance.
Yeah.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Alan Cumming, Rosario Dawson, Parker Posey.
Picture this. All those actors in a movie with a half-baked idea about consumerism.
Hell yeah.
And it takes place
New York City, baby.
and also in Riverdale, partially.
Oh yeah, I forgot it does take place in Riverdale.
They reference Riverdale.
Hashtag not my Riverdale.
Yeah.
Josie and the Pussycats is about a 3-girl pop punk band, I guess.
Yeah.
And they get signed to mega evil corporation music
Records.
industry records.
Big money records.
And go through some trials and tribulations as bands, as a friend or as friends, and learn a little bit about how music is used to sell
you everything.
commodities. Yeah.
Yeah. And that how movies actually do a better job of it anyway.
Yeah.
So I will say the first thing we took away from this movie was the insane amount of product placement.
Psychotic.
We discovered along the way that it was an intentional choice. They didn't make it so obvious at first. So we were a little like, is this just like
Is this
this?
just like a Transformers movie?
Yeah.
What's going on?
It was like so in your face through the whole movie.
That's what made me think that they had a reason for doing it, because it was like a little too obtuse.
Also, think about it. This wasn't like some beloved, treasured IP, right? Don't.
How dare you?
This wasn't some like irrefutable top tier. This wasn't like product placement being in the Lord of the Rings, right? This was
Gandalf
Josie
sipping
and the Pussycats. It's not like they could stuff whatever the fuck they want into it. They can have a consumerism message in the movie and slap product placement on the movie and just be exactly what they're trying to comment on.
Right.
And people will buy it because people are dumb.
Yeah.
And so that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But it turns out they say that they didn't accept any money from sponsors.
It's, that's up in the air, but the claim is that they didn't.
Yeah.
That's
they
like
say that they didn't. So, we don't really know.
Yeah.
But it is everywhere.
Oh my God. It's like Target ads and Motorola ads.
Flat out. Like there's like a cut where they show like 4 different mini commercials. You remember that? And we were like, oh God. And that's what makes me think like they must have gotten something. Like this is like, I get that they're trying to hammer a point into your head, but then in the end of the movie, it was kind of ill thought out anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. So these girls are not rocking. They start out with a music video.
They're pretty good though. I mean, like the music, like I will say that it seemed at least like the music was originally written for this movie.
You could tell that Paramore was popular when this movie came out because the lead girl just looked like fucking Haley Williams.
I don't even think Paramore was around because
Really?
this was like 2001.
That's
so they were
pretty funny then.
Yeah.
Oh, Tara Reid, honey.
Oh man.
Poor Tara Reid.
So she was the comic relief character, or was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And they just
remember
like,
how Dumb Girl is funny?
oh dude, she was so dumb. And like, it's so unfortunate because they weren't funny jokes.
No, they weren't.
Which was the worst part, is that she was supposed to be the dumb girl and it was supposed to be funny. And it wasn't funny.
It wasn't, but it was just like, I was just kept going, oh, Tara Reid, hun.
Yeah,
oh, I feel so bad for her.
Yeah.
I remember we were like 10 minutes into the movie and I was like, man, well, it's really nice that they're not over sexualizing Tara Reid in this movie. And then someone's like, hot ass, babe.
No, she was holding a sign that was like, honk if you like pussy.
Okay.
And then she moves from behind a bush and it says Pussycats.
Yeah.
It was like literally the moment after you said that happened. It's like, you sure about that?
I was like, okay, never mind. It's so funny.
Oh, dude, Tara Reid. Like, I kind of feel for her because she did try and she just got cast as a dumb character.
Yeah.
And I don't know. She was in Snake Island or whatever the fuck we watched that one time. You remember when we watched Snake Island?
Oh yeah. Was it? There were two Snake Islands. One was the old one, and the newer one she was in.
I don't even remember.
Okay.
Maybe she was in Snake Man. Remember there was Snake Man and Shark Man
and Lizard Viper person.
There was a whole bunch of them, and they all had the same image that was like photoshopped to look like a lizard man and a snake man and
Shark Man.
Yeah, and a shark man.
But yeah, these girls get picked up after Alan Cummings, who is famous for being Mr. Foogly from Spy Kids.
Yeah, I couldn't remember where I recognized him from, but he also looks a lot like John Oliver.
He does look like John Oliver. He's just as British.
He's got those British big black bar freaking eyebrows that are just like half of his forehead. Big, bold, black.
Why are you yelling?
Beautiful eyebrows. Okay.
Plosives. As he throws out, I love the intro to this movie. We haven't even talked about it, but there's a boy band called De Jour because they're
band Du Jour.
Yeah, band Du Jour,
and they're singing a song. They're like a boy band, like In Sync, and they're singing a song about like open up your back door.
Yeah, and like
and all the girls in the crowds are like, open up my back door.
And like it's like Turk, Seth Green.
Yeah, Turk from Scrubs, Seth Green, and then a couple other like SNL comedians that didn't last that long.
And then they crash the plane that those guys are on, and
Alan Cummings, like he hears like a different band, or he hears like the newest song that they put together, and he's just like, interesting, and then makes a phone call and then parachutes out of the plane with the pilot. And they just let it crash because he just gives up on him.
Yeah.
So they're like, I think we got a good impression of what the movie was going to be right out the gate, which I'm really glad.
Honestly, that's such a good little intro. I got him.
Yeah, Snag the cat. Yeah,
baby.
That was like a decent little like way to start the movie.
Yeah, it definitely.
They had some comedy out the gate there, which I thought was really good,
really funny. Like I thought that was some of the funnier stuff was up front there.
Oh yeah,
and just like that quick establishment was so good. But yeah, he has to find a new band, and he randomly runs into he
like almost hits them with his car,
with his Ray-Ban mobile. Yeah.
He has oh my god, it says Ray-Bans all on the top.
And they did this really great shot that I actually really loved, where he like empties out a CD case, holds it up, and then they like the girls are standing there with their band equipment, and then someone moves a #1 band in the world sign behind them, and he's just like, perfect.
#1 band. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was so great. And so he offers them a record deal and flies them out to New York City. And
they make an album and they get rich. It goes to Josie's head.
Yeah, it goes to Josie's head a little bit.
Because they're putting subliminal messages in the music.
Yeah, because they show the Parker Posey, who's the lead of this evil mega corporation,
who was probably the best part of the movie.
Her Arrested Development and that movie, it was so funny. But
I think like one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they go to like her office or like her bedroom or whatever it is that's at the like at her house when they have her party.
Yeah.
And she's like awkwardly trying to like be their friend.
Yeah.
And, oh
And
God,
just
it
like,
was so
do you
gross.
guys want to talk about boys and stuff? And Tara Reid's
And
like,
they're
yeah.
And they're like,
Tara's like, I love boys.
because it's awkward.
Yeah.
It's so, oh my God. That was like, she was like the best part of
Oh
that.
yeah, she did such a great job.
Eugene Levy also. So she was in, Parker Posey was in some of those Christopher Guest.
Yeah, she was in.
I think she was in Best in Show or A Mighty Wind, one of the two.
She might have been both.
She probably was in both. I think she's a regular on those. So is Eugene Levy, who was in all of those as well and going back.
Yeah,
but he makes an appearance in this movie briefly.
Yeah, he just like he talks about like subliminal messaging and how like kids suck.
Yeah, and how actors like him get paid to put subliminal messages and stuff for kids or something like that.
Yeah, so they buy stuff.
Yeah,
and they have all these really great back and forth where it's just like, you know what? I'm really glad we bought pink shoes. Pink's the new red. And then like immediately they're like, actually, I think that orange is the new pink.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, they're playing out front of the store and the guy's like, hey, listen, ladies, I got orange stuff to sell.
Yeah. Because they set up their band, which is like totally unsigned and like raw.
Yeah.
But it's getting in the way of his consumerism.
Yeah, it's great.
Because it's like anti. Because that's how they start out. Come on.
Yeah. But he moves them to New York. They do their record deal on like this ultra mega 3000 thing that's putting the subliminal messages in it. And away they go as they start to kind of live their fantasy, but they're kind of figuring out that something fucky's going on.
Yeah.
And so they attempt to break up the band through subliminal messaging.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then that's the only real conflict, I guess.
Yeah, it's like the band is borderline going to break up because Josie's being brainwashed by a song.
And she acts like a bitch for a little bit, and then the band gets back together and everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. Oh, they do the whole scene where they go on Total Request Live and like they try and murder them, and the one guy won't stop doing impressions.
Oh, and we're like, the classic impressions scene.
Yeah. What is this, a Kevin Smith Yoga Hosers movie?
Right. So like, I guess now that we kind of have the main part of the story out of the way, we can talk about the broader strokes here. Mm-hmm. And with the Josie and the Pussycats is coming off 2001 on the heels of the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So
now that's 90s fashion right there. That they were kind of giving you that you wanted in Hot Summer Nights. Like
yeah, honestly, a little bit more so.
Juicy.
Well, that was like so the early 2000s, everybody got into like flared jeans and like 70s looking clothes. And so that's kind of like what they touched on in this, which I thought it's so hideous.
Oh, it's so ugly.
It's so fucking hideous. And it's going to be back around. Like, it's going to be popular again, which sucks.
Yeah.
Like, because that's how these things work. It's very generational. Yeah. It's just so gross.
Not for jack dudes.
And so, so they did a little bit of that. But the 90s, if there's one thing that you can define them as, is the height of what I would call consumer surrealism. Right, where it's like this altered reality that commercials exist in, where it's just you want to buy this or your head turns into a cartoon and you explode when you eat a gusher, and like it's just in your face. It's colorful. It's just constant advertisement bombardment. Yeah, and I think that's what they were kind of trying to make fun of. Yeah, in this, because like their band starts off as very unfiltered and very not consumerist. And then they become that which they hate. They stare into the abyss, and the abyss began to stare back, one might say. Yeah. And then it bites them in the ass, and then they almost break up the band, and then they don't. And at the end, they all learn that really the real consumerisms was the friends they made along the way.
Nice. We
nailed it.
And then it turns out the real reason was that all this was going on is because Parker Posey wanted a giant mega concert where the subliminal message was everyone wants to be friends with Fiona.
So she just really wanted a friend through all of this. Lisp. Yeah. She just wanted a friend.
And then
Alan Cummings was also like, he had alopecia or something.
He was an albino.
And he like wiped off like what was supposed to be makeup, and he was just like
wiping makeup on his forehead.
Exactly, like a kind of a fun little trick. That
was great.
It was a little weird and silly. And they were like, they had been working together closely for years, but apparently they knew each other from way back, and they just revealed it to each other. So ridiculous. So yeah, that's Josie and the Pussycats. And I thought it had something deeper to say, I think.
Yeah. And the one positive I can really say is it was a movie that we didn't think we'd finish, and we finished it.
Which is a great sign.
Yeah.
And like the thing is that the movie was it wasn't highbrow by any means, but it had like a quick enough script.
Yeah, the script was okay.
Yeah, it lagged in some places, especially when they were doing like Tara Reid's dumb. Get it?
Do you get it?
And
She's stupid.
And that stuff was just not fun or funny. And
oh, you mean you didn't like it when she was singing "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands" in the shower and dropped the soap when she clapped?
Like 3 times?
You don't think that was rule of threes, dude? You have to find it.
I guess I'm not
funny.
a comedian.
It's literally law. It's actually the law of threes. You have to laugh.
Oh my God, this is Joe Biden's America. Huh?
God damn it, Joe Biden. Oh,
well, equal opportunity laughs now, huh?
Oh yeah, everyone's funny now.
Yeah, you have to laugh at politically correct jokes.
My wife is married to me. Am I right? Boy, did we get married because of love.
Wow. Oh, I hate my wife. Oh, I'm going to hit my wife with my RV.
Oh, I didn't know this was the 80s. No, jokes now are more like, I hate my wife. She just doesn't love herself enough.
Oh.
My wife.
Wow, nailed it. Comedy genius, dude.
It's more like, I hate my wife. Because Borat's the thing now.
You know, I always did say the funniest guy in the room is the guy who can quote Borat the most accurately.
And loudest.
And loudest. Louder than all of his other friends also quoting Borat.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's like the seagulls that say mine in Finding Nemo, but they're like, my wife, my wife, my wife.
It's the rule of B's, actually. For B for Borat.
Oh, I thought you were B for B movie.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld's only funny when he's an animated B. We gotta finish this episode.
Yeah, this is going too long. So that's that. That's Josie and the Pussycats. We probably could say more, but
we won't.
We won't. Honestly, I would say I think it's free on something.
Oh yeah, it's on HBO Max right now.
So it's
free if you have a subscription.
Yeah, exactly.
My login is now.
Yeah, right. So go and watch that, I guess.
Yeah. Do we want to do 5 words, 10, and recommend for one of these movies?
No.
Fuck you, dude.
you go ahead and start. Pick one of them.
Okay, I'm gonna do Hot Summer Nights.
Okay.
More like cold bummer frights. I hated this movie. I thought it was really bad. It just wasn't a good story overall. So there's some acting that really redeemed it, but not enough. It's gonna get a 3 from me.
Okay. I'm also gonna do Hot Summer Nights, and I'm gonna say disappointing, brown cinematography, Hunter Strawberry.
Damn, you got Hunter Strawberry in there. I didn't know that was less than 5 words.
Yeah, it's actually, I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know math shit.
Yeah, it was like, the thing is, I definitely didn't hate this movie. I liked, I guess, what they thought they were doing, because I could kind of see what they thought they were doing. But the script betrayed the movie overall, and then that combined with odd editing decisions, and that combined additionally with the bad color grading and the lack of character development resulted in a less than satisfactory movie that on the surface appears to be good to the untrained eye. I probably would have liked that movie a lot 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I probably would have.
Too bad it wasn't out then.
Yeah. Like, seriously, yeah. Like, I probably actually would have thought it was a good movie back then. And it wasn't a horrible movie. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 because it did have ideas and some emotional uplifts, which I found entertaining at the very least. But yeah, so there you go. There you have it. Would I recommend it? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. All right. You don't need to see it. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't yet, leave us 5 stars on, I almost said For the Story. Leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
I am out of town next week, so our next episode will be a week after that.
Yes, at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah,
no
someday.
hard promises.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we love you all so much, and goodbye.
Hunter Strawberry.